Are you ready for another tutorial? Let's make the Camilas Charming tote. This is so super cute. I love this line from Riley Blake, and it will be available as kits in my new quilt shop opening in October. To make this project, you're going to need a charm pack. You won't use up the whole charm pack, but you should have enough to do the front and the back matching if your charm pack has some doubles in it. Lay them out the way you want them to look, then pile them all up. You're piling them up because you have to trim these charms down to the right size. Now the size is in the pattern. You know I don't tell you the sizes. Cut them all the same way, so you end up with one 5-inch length and one of the other. So then I want you to sew all of the pieces together. I just did some chain piecing. I did 2 and 2 and 2 and 2, and then I sewed the 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 together to make these strips. Then I put the strips together. Make sure you're nesting your seams. This is one thing I just want to drive home. Pin the seam. Line those seams up really well so that it all looks the same. If your seam allowance is right, your seams will connect perfectly in the middle. Rinse, wash, repeat. Sew these strips together and you'll have your 2 sides. So this charm pack has some directional fabric, which you might or might not choose, but I really like the little rainbows. So make sure you sew it to the right side, unlike what I did, which I sewed it to the right side, and then those would have been like horseshoes instead of rainbows. So sew it to the bottom on both sides of your bag. So handles are one of my most favorite things to make. I don't know why, but I just find them relaxing. So what you do is you cut your strip of fabric. Now I like my strip of fabric a little bit longer than what the instructions call for, and there's plenty of fabric in the kit to do it. So the first thing you do is you fold it in half and you're gonna press it. Then, and that gives you this nice little crease in the middle. Once you've pressed it in half, you're gonna fold in each of the sides and press it again. And then you'll have this nice little trough where you can put in the fusible interfacing so that it has a little bit of structure to it. And then you're going to fold it in half once that's all together, and you're going to do a little stitch up the side. Fold them in on each other, and right inside is a piece of fusible interfacing. That interfacing is sticky. You want to put sticky side up. It's not sticky till you iron it. And then you're going to fold it in half again. It's oddly satisfying when all your lines line up, oddly. Now I'm going to stitch an 1/8 of an inch seam up the side so that it stays together, and I have pink top thread in so that it looks super duper cute. So I have my 1/4 inch seam foot on, and I have this not touching the 1/4 inch seam, which gives me a little less than a 1/4 inch, closer to an 1/8 of an inch the way I have it lined up. And I just stitched it through. Then I repeated on the other side. This is not necessary. It doesn't make it do anything other than gives it a nice finished look. I also expand my stitch length to about a 3.5, 4, because I think the longer stitch looks nicer when you're just doing a finishing stitch like this. You can do it however you want. Set those handles aside, and now I want you to iron a piece of fusible fleece to the back and front of your bag. So that's the pieces with the charm pack and the little base that I showed you earlier. Now I'm doing some quilting at this step. This is not a requirement, but I felt like it really helped it make it look good. I started by doing stitch in the ditch, but I really didn't like that. So what I did was I took the edge of my sewing foot. I still have my stitch in the ditch foot on, and I lined it up with the seam, and then I sewed. So it's about a 1/2 inch, 1/4 of an inch from the side, and I ended up making kind of a grid, and I really, really liked it. With the pink thread, it just looked pretty. So I did it up in the middles, and then I did it across. So you end up with kind of a tic-tac-toe or a hash or anything like that. But you really will like it. It worked out real good. This is the leftover fabric that I had from when I was making my inner lining. So I'm basically just folding it pretty side to pretty side in half, and I'm going to stitch all the way around, leave myself a little pull-through hole. Okay, so it kind of looks like a tube. I'm going to pop it inside out, or right side out, because right now it's inside out. I'm just going to pull it back through that hole, pop those corners out. And my stiletto's upstairs, so I'm going to use a screwdriver. Okay, so now I'm going to fold in this end, just like you do on a normal thing, and I'm going to iron it. Then I'm going to top stitch over it just to get it closed, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to make this into super cool pockets. We're going to stitch all the way around like this one time. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to stitch in some individual pockets. Now you can make one that's like pin size, you can make one big, you can do whatever you want. Okay, so I've stitched down this edge. Now I've pivoted. I just lifted and pivoted, and I'm going to stitch this way. all the way across. When I get to the edge, I'm going to slow down, get it to where I can pivot. I'm going to pivot it again. I'm going to bring it up, just like this. Okay, so now, because I want a little pocket for my pin, so I can slide my pin in here, just like this. So I want just a little pin pocket, just for fun. So I'm going to start right here at this base stitch to make it look clean. And then I'm going to sew a straight line all the way up. So now I'm going to do a little bit bigger pocket because I have my pin pocket. This is a snack pocket. This will fit a Hot Tamales candy. And we're going to do another one. So now this side of my bag has 3 distinctive pockets and a pin holder. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my straps and I'm going to put them on the inside of my bag. So I'm going to take, this is the top of my bag. There's the base. And I'm going to lay the straps in between the lining and the top of my bag. Now, some of you will be like, oh, I got to measure. But those of you that know me know that I don't measure too much. What I'm doing, because I don't want to measure, is I'm lining them up with the stitching because I did some quilting on this. So I'm lining them up there. I'm going to grab a pin. You can use a clip, whatever you want to do. Burp. And then I'm going to get the other one in the same spot on the other side. Just like this. Now remember, when you go to do the top stitch, I use extra long straps. So this is not the strap recommended in the pattern. I just like a long strap because I'm a big girl and I like to have the bag hang down a little lower. One of the hardest things for me is getting all of this lined up right, especially with pockets. So the easiest thing for me to do is I got it all put together. Top of my bag goes to the top with my straps, pocket side facing open. This is where things can go awry. So I want my bases to line up. I want my middles to line up, and I want the other side to line up. And then I'm going to stitch all the way around, and I'm going to leave my pull-through hole on the base of the interior of the bag. Don't leave your pull-through hole like on the outside of the bag. It'll show up. So leave it on the interior of the bag, because then it's super easy to close up, and it will look fantastic, and you will thank me later. All right, we're going to box this corner. So this is the way the bag is sewed right now. What I'm going to do is kind of pull it open, and then all the way. I want to line my seams up. I'm going to line my seams up as flat as possible. So you can kind of see it through right here. And I'm going to come in about 1.5 inches. Now I have a little ruler that does this for me, and like normal, I can't find it. But we'll do it anyway this way. So here is 1 inch to right here, and here is 1.5 inches. And so I'm using my board, and this way I can do it even on both sides. And I'm going to draw a little mark right here. Now I'm going to stitch right along that line, and I'm going to repeat the process on all 4 corners, including the interior. Now once you box your corners and you've stitched, you're going to come about 1/4 inch off that stitch line, and you're going to cut it. You're going to do the same thing on all 4 corners. Okay, now we pull it all the way through. It's like Alien. After you get it pulled on through, you need to close up that pull-through hole. So fold in the edges and then stitch it together. Don't worry about it. People won't see it. It'll be in the base of the bag. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to top stitch all the way around the top of the bag, because see, it almost looks like it's got a cute little binding. Okay, I should have put my stitch in the ditch foot on, but I left my 1/4 inch seam foot on. It all ended up working okay, but I had to raise the foot every time a handle came by. Just make sure it lines up kind of even and then stitch right in that ditch along the edges. See how I had to change it up a little bit there? And you'll end up with a really cute bag. I really love this bag. If you see it in person, the straps are a little long, but it was super cute. Kits will be available at my new shop, and you can get them online in the link in my bio.